Today is the Feast of the Guardian Angels, and in today's Gospel reading, our Lord reminds us that true greatness means being like little children, which means trusting completely in God. Too often, because of our pride, we desire to be self-reliant, to trust in ourselves. So we need to trust in God. And God assigned a particular angel to every human being to be a guardian angel for every human being. In other words, each one of you has your own unique guardian angel, someone assigned by God to watch over you, to protect you, and to guide you. And some people have experienced their guardian angels in their lives. I remember when I was young, there was an interest in angels at that time. I can't remember when it was, but it was kind of like the late 80s or something. And I remember seeing, it was kind of a documentary on angels, and one particular story stuck out in my mind. I repeat this every year, but a woman was walking along a brick building. A huge transport truck went out of control and slammed into her, pinning her against the wall, crushing her against the wall. And when the paramedics, the ambulance people came, they thought for sure she is dead, but she was still alive. They thought for sure she has major internal organ damage, and she did have some damage, but it was not nearly as severe as they thought it would be. She was in a coma for a while, but when she came out of the coma, she said that she remembered being hit, and she said just before the truck hit her, she saw a person standing in front of her. Now, of course, there was nobody in front of her, but she saw her guardian angel, and her guardian angel protected her, shielded her, not completely, but just so that she would survive, just enough so that she would survive. So guardian angels are very active. In my former parish, it was just around the time that it was the Feast of the Guardian Angels, there was a parishioner who was crossing the street, and it was a green light. He was crossing on the green light, and there were some other parishioners that, this was after Mass, they were leaving the church, so they could see him crossing the road, and a car went through the red light, and this car almost ran over this person. And, the car just zoomed by him, and he was just shocked. And the people on the side, asked him afterwards, "Are you okay?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm fine." And they said, how did you know to stop? Why did you stop?" And he said, "What are you talking about? I didn't stop." But he did stop. Had he not stopped, the car would have run him over. So even without his being aware of it, he actually stopped just as the car was coming. So his guardian angel probably inspired him to stop right at that moment. So our guardian angels are very active in our lives. Sometimes we don't realize how active they are, but the ideal is we want our guardian angels to be very active in our lives. And, we heard in today's first reading, when the people are faithful to God, well, God will send his angel to guide them and to protect them. But when they are not faithful, the guardian angel of the people has less ability, less freedom to act as he would want to protect the people. So there are guardian angels for human beings, as I mentioned, but there are guardian angels or patron angels of groups of people, such as the Jewish people, but also for nations, for dioceses, right? So our archdiocese, the patron saint of our archdiocese is St. Michael the Archangel. We just had that. The feast was on Sunday, but it was a Sunday, so the Sunday readings take preference over it. But he's St. Michael, imagine such a great angel being the patron saint of our diocese. Why is he not able to act more? Well, because we don't have a devotion to him. The ideal is that in every parish, every priest encourages the faithful to recite the prayer to St. Michael after every Mass. This is the ideal, but some priests refuse to do so. Some priests don't believe in guardian angels. There's a story I heard from Father Mark Goring, about a priest who went to confession to Padre Pio. And for some reason it came up that he didn't believe in guardian angels. And Padre Pio, who from a very young age was able to see not just his own guardian angels, but the guardian angels of others, said to him, "What are you talking about? I see him right there, right beside you." And ever since then, I think he was a seminarian at that time, but he became a priest. He has a great devotion to his guardian angel. So if we want our guardian angels to be more active in our lives, if we want them to have greater influence upon us, their greater ability to protect us and to guide us, we should have a devotion to them. So there's many prayers to guardian angels. It's good to know some of them off by heart. Hopefully most of you do. It's good to pray to your guardian angel every day. Ask your guardian angel to guide you, to protect you. And Saint Jose Maria Escrivá, he's the founder of Opus Dei, he was so devoted to the guardian angels that whenever he met someone, he would greet first the guardian angel of the person, and only then would he greet the person. Now, he didn't do this out loud. In his mind, he would greet the guardian angel of the person, and then verbally, he would greet the person himself. And the wonderful thing is, like, let's say you're trying to convert someone, and it's kind of like one-on-one, or let's say there's two of them and one of you. That's not really the case. Let's say there's two of them, Jehovah's Witnesses or whatever, and you're having a debate with them. It's really you, your guardian angel, and the guardian angels of the two individuals you're dealing with. So you actually outnumber those two individuals, because you have the guardian angels of those persons on your side also trying to proclaim the truth to them. The guardian angels are trying to enlighten them. So to have our guardian angels to be more active, we need to have a devotion to them. And yes, we need to avoid sin. We need to try to grow in our relationship with God. When we sin, we deprive ourselves of the presence of God. Let's say we commit mortal sin. We deprive ourselves of the presence of God, but also all those benefits that God is giving us. Our guardian angel is still there. And even in a state of mortal sin, they can help us. But they're not as capable, they're not as effective, because we've rejected God and all the benefits that would come to us through our relationship with God, which includes those guardian angels. Now, very often our guardian angels act in our lives, but we don't realize it. And I just wanted to give you an example. When I was young, I was in grade 5, I believe. I was jumping out of a swing with a group of friends. And I have jumped out of swings hundreds or thousands of times. It was like a piece of cake, no problem. But for some reason, we were taking turns, just trying to see who could jump further or something like that. And it was my turn. And for some reason, I could not jump. It's kind of like something was holding me back. But I kind of forced myself. My friends were getting impatient. Come on, jump already. So I forced myself to jump. And I went head first, put out both my arms, and I broke both my wrists. So what was holding me back? Probably my guardian angel. But I didn't listen to the voice of my guardian angel. Sometimes a person is tempted to sin, and they hear all these voices. Part of them is saying, no, don't do it. And they do it anyways. Or sometimes, people who are on drugs, they know they shouldn't take this last hit or whatever, this drug or whatever, this shooting up, and something's telling them, don't do it. It's their guardian angel trying to protect them. But they do it anyways, and sometimes they overdose, they die. So that little voice, sometimes, yes, it's our conscience, sure, but it's also sometimes and often our guardian angel trying to warn us. And we need to be attentive to that little voice that comes from God, that comes from our guardian angel. So let us ask our guardian angels to watch over us, to protect us, and to guide us.